At what point in your career did you realize, okay, there's something wrong here within this industry, really, like, and I'm starting to see all of the bullshit, basically?
The thing is, I always knew there was something wrong with it because I grew up being taught this stuff. And at one point, my family, I almost married a man who was part of the Bourbon family. He gave me a book this thick, breaking down all the symbols and secrets of what they do. So in my mind, it was weird because I've always felt like, because even when I was a kid in church, I was prophesied that I would conquer the mountain of entertainment and that I would be singing and dancing, and exactly what I'm doing now, I would be doing. So my whole thing was always being an infiltrator to a degree and revolutionizing and changing the industry from the inside out, but I just kind of like blindly went forward and not realizing that, those things would happen.
Damn, Tina, you almost married someone too? Like I feel like you've lived like a real like interesting life, you know what I mean? Like,
yes. I was forced. Okay. So this was right before I moved to LA. My dad forced me into a marriage at 19.
Why was that?
So why?
Yeah.
Because he thought I was having sex with this boy that I had been dating. We were dating for a little while, but then I just kind of wasn't liking him anymore. But when I had like left home one day because my dad and I got into it. And he's like, well, if you're going to listen to music, you can't live in this house. So I left, went to stay at my friend's apartment, and he wasn't there. So this guy we had been dating, he came to stay with me because I just needed company. I'd been through a lot with my father, and he was just, being a friend. My dad finds out where I'm staying. 2 days later, he comes in, he's bringing him breakfast, right? My dad follows him into the apartment, and my dad is like, you guys got to be at the courthouse in an hour. And I was like, no. My dad picks up a mug. He throws it in my direction. I duck. It shatters the sliding glass door behind me. He flips over a coffee table. Suffice to say, we were at the courthouse an hour later. So we're at the courthouse, right? And he was still very much in love with me. He wanted to be married to me. But I'm sitting there crying. I'm sitting there signing the marriage license, and the clerk is looking at me like, what is going on? And just tears streaming down onto the paper.
Wow.
And my dad, he was a minister, could officiate it. We didn't have to have an actual ceremony. It's just, bam, it's done.
I know that, you've made peace with your dad and the things that you've been through in life, over the years. But up until that point, did you feel like, you had a lot of trauma caused by kind of the things that he pushed with the religion and the dictating?
I'm actually still working through that. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you how, because whatever, the whole daddy issues thing is very real. And it's because of a vibration. So I was accustomed to being in a certain vibration and being under his thumb and having a certain mindset mentality about myself. And what that did is it allowed me to attract someone in my life with who was going to treat me in a similar fashion.
Right. That's why they say that everybody grows up to marry their own father or mother, basically. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you can break that curse. But I've realized right now, because I even just found out through a spiritual source, where I found out that my an ex, who is married right now with a second kid on the way, after I left him, because he locked me in a tower. At one point, like, he was trying to control what I wore. He didn't want me to go anywhere. He ostracized me from my friends. And then he ended up getting jealous of me because he was a musician and he was, he sings, but he's not a singer. So he was the front leader of the band, and I would come and I'd sing a couple songs, and I played like the synth keys. And there were people that were saying, you need to be the lead singer of the band. So he got really jealous and insecure, and he started sabotaging me on stage.
Wow.
And would just in life, and then would say things when I would like try to uplift myself. He would say something to squash it, and he'd be like, I'm just bringing you down to reality. So I ended up having friends help me leave him because it was that kind of fear. The same thing like my father, you know what I mean? After I left him, I found out later, and I didn't even believe this, that he ended up on crack. And I'm just finding out now. And it must have been when he was on crack, because I don't know if he would have done this in his own, maybe in his own right mind, because he's got a lot of issues, but that he went to some spiritual, someone who practices certain things and had some kind of curse. He tried to put some curse on me. So I'm just finding this out.
And how long ago were you with him?
This was 2011.
Wow. So he is still hung up for many years.
He hasn't let go. And I can energetically still feel him. And he watches me from a private account. And I know, because I'm intuitive. I know, and I've learned my gifts. So I've learned not to question them anymore. And other things that have happened that confirm that he stays watching me. He's got his second kid on the way. And I want him to just be released. Like, be released of me. He's got a wife that sings now. He's trying to recreate what we had. And I get it. You want that again. You know what I mean? But now he's not acting in his own happiness. He has cultivated his life, and he uses his wife to try to be a competition tool and jab at me energetically.
That's terrible.
Isn't that, people do that? That's crazy.
Yeah, I know.
I don't physically see him, but I can feel his energy after me. I'm writing a song about it right now too. We'll see if I put it out.
That's insane. So you're saying that obviously, like, your relationship with your father had you attract certain men that, mistreated you. And at what time did you start to break that curse? Like, I mean, that cycle.
I'm in the middle of breaking it.
You're still.
Mm-hmm.
And what made you realize that this is what I've done, like, because of my relationship with my dad?
What do you mean? Like, what caused me to realize the correlation between the two?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, just after so many years of why does this keep happening? Why, and then I got to take responsibility for my vibration and what I'm attracting and what I'm outputting because of what has happened to me. So it's like, at the same token, it wasn't my fault. But at this point in my life, I now have to take responsibility for what I'm emitting.
Yeah, I think that, we all have things that happen to us, right? And, you can only use that for so long, but it's up to you to do the healing yourself, to do the work, the hard work,
mm-hmm.
because that's what's going to change your life instead of you falling into the same behavioral patterns.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.